Breakfast Club, and we have our friend to the room,
Dr. Oz.
Dr. Oz.
How are you guys, my friends? You doing well?
Good to see you again, Dr. Oz.
Dr. Oz, I'm so glad you're here. We had a big debate, and I had to ask you this question. Is it dangerous to have anal sex? Is there any harmful...
When did we have that debate?
I like the foreplay. Who was debating who, but I'm just curious.
Well, Charlamagne loves it, and we were talking, and some people were saying that it's not good, it's dangerous, and you can bleed.
Dr. Oz, could you tell her the dangers of lying? What's she talking about?
Charlamagne. I love it. The sucker punch. So the reality of it is, it's if you're smart about it, it's not dangerous. Obviously, you need some lubrication. You don't want bleeding.
Right.
But other than that, it's for a lot of folks, it's very simulatory. There are sensors back there, which is why it's commonly done in many cultures, many places.
Okay.
Dr. Oz, stop lowering your standards and coming to this ratchet ass show. You're so better than this.
I was wondering where that came from. It's the first I've been asked that live.
Now, Dr. Oz, we have a coworker that pees the bed.
No, yes, me. I'm 33 years old, Dr. Oz, and the other night, for the first time since I was a kid, I peed the bed.
Yeah.
I was having a dream, actually, about Stephen A. Smith.
Which is awkward.
In the dream, this is a true story.
Is it really?
Yes, in the dream, he goes, unbeknownst to me, he peed on himself, and I peed in the bed. I was like, whoa. And then I got up and used the bathroom. Is that weird? Is something wrong?
No, people have peeing in the bed issues commonly. If you have it when you're younger, it's because you never quite got the wake-up call. Think about it. It's almost a miracle that we do get up to pee.
Got you.
Right? Because, why would you wake up to pee? That's just a delicate sensation, but we're always able to do that once we get past adolescence. A lot of kids, when they're younger, have trouble with it. When you're an adult and you pee in the bed, if it's just once or twice, it's not a big deal. If you start peeing frequently in the bed, then I get worried about other stuff.
See, it scared me, though, because last night, I couldn't go to sleep because I didn't know, I felt like it could happen again.
Well, there's an autopilot in the body that warns us when things aren't working the right way. And so if that autopilot isn't working right, it's a warning signal to us that other things might not be functioning, like cognitive issues, like your ability to think, process information, etc. As an example, obviously, when you get older and if you start losing your ability to be focused, if you start getting a little dementia, then those kinds of things become more common.
Like Donald Sterling.
Like who? Yes, exactly.
You don't have dementia, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I there's something fundamentally wrong there. You don't say those kinds of things. You don't get baited. That's just, I don't care if you actually are a racist.
Yeah.
You have to be not quite on your game to actually come out. That's why racism is prevalent, right? Because people can hide it pretty effectively. He didn't hide it so well.
Right.
So,
Well, he thought he did. He was secretly being recorded until he did that Anderson Cooper interview and said some more things.
Yeah, I just don't think there's something wrong. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's not the way you'd behave if you were thoughtfully leading your life.
Right, and your whole entire life until you're 81. But he did have other issues prior to this, and lawsuits and everything.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
You think Ginkgo, what is it, Ginkgo biloba?
Ginkgo biloba.
Yeah, I take it every morning, but I can never remember the name, the irony, right? Does that really help?
Yeah, I think so. Ginkgo biloba has been used in Eastern medicine a lot.
Okay.
The Chinese think that it's one of those herbs that really stimulates the brain. There's no question it does have some effect. Whether it can delay dementia, who knows? But I think it makes a lot of sense.
Now, Dr. Oz, last time you were here, you were talking about dieting. And the effects of fast food restaurants. How does that hurt the body so much?
In order for fast food restaurants to succeed, they have to put things in the food that are going to make you crave them, even when you're not in the restaurant. And a lot of these things and these are food scientists who do this, and they're very good at it. So they put a lot more sugar in it than they have to because we crave sugar. It stimulates dopamine. Dopamine is what crack cocaine stimulates. So when you give someone a lot of sugar, it's literally stimulating the part of the brain that gives you crack cocaine high.
So drinking Kool-Aid with a lot of sugar is like smoking crack?
It is.
No wonder people like crack.
They'll go after it. Exactly. It does give that big blunted high. They also put a lot of fat in there because it gives you that smoothiness feel in your mouth.
Right.
That creaminess. And so
crack or what?
No, this
fast
is
food.
The sugar, man.
Junk food. No. The junk food, the fast food will put sugar and fat in there.
Oh,
gotcha. The fat is a separate issue. The fat will make it taste creamy in your mouth, so you'll want it.
All he heard was creamy in mouth, and
he was gone. And that got us back to the first question I answered.
That's why people eat pineapples.
That's right.
That's why guys eat pineapples to make their semen taste better because it gives the girl a better feel when she.
It does affect. Actually, a lot of things affect the taste.
Yeah,
I'm told.
But back to the creaminess.
Back to the creaminess. So fast food guys will bait you with that, and they chum the waters, basically getting you to come in there. So almost by definition, you're going in there for the wrong reasons. So of course you're not going to leave with the right stuff. Listen, making food at home, besides saving you a ton of money, guarantees that you know what's in your food.
Right.
Which is one of the best reasons that to lose weight and eat at home is that you'll at least be able to do quality control on what otherwise would trick your body.
Well, let's talk about that because on Wednesday, May 21st, you have a show how supermarkets manipulate what you buy.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to believe that organic is just a title nowadays. Like I don't even trust when I go to the supermarket and buy stuff that says organic anymore.
Well, some organic foods are head fakes, but that's not the big problem. I think today in America, the best way, it's not the perfect way, but the best way to know something is healthier is if it's organic.
Gotcha.
But now I say that because if you can afford it, you should get organic because it's better for the environment as well. And if you can't, don't panic over it. You can still eat well without getting organic, but I prefer you buy organic. But what they do in the supermarkets is they'll do things called the health halo effect. So you walk in the supermarket, everyone knows the first place you're directed is the produce aisle, right?
Okay.
So you go in there, it's a little expensive, but it's good stuff for you. I think it's a good investment. Right next to the produce aisle, now that I say it, I want you to notice this. Right next is almost always the breads.
Yeah, it's right next to it.
Right now,
Those
why would
damn
they
carbs?
They carbs, and why do they do that? Because they figure you feel pretty good about the fact you just bought all those veggies, so they put the bread right next to it. So
Right.
now you go to the bread, and you know what? I'll just buy some of that bread, which I know is not so good for me because I just got the veggies. And they do that all along. They'll go right, they're good food, bad food, good food, and then they also put in the supermarket with things that don't belong where they are. Like they'll have a little aisle of the regular soft drinks, and they'll put an extra little dispenser of soft drinks right at checkout.
Yeah.
Right? Or they'll put chips and cheeses
That's
in
where
the
all
middle of
candy
nowhere.
and
Or
gum.
condoms on the liquor aisle.
Exactly. You know all this stuff. I love it.
What store are you going to, man?
Where do you shop?
I don't know.
Gas station.
Let's talk about bread for a second. You said carbs are one of the misunderstood foods out there. Like, explain that a little bit.
Well, a lot of the sources of carbs we have are based on breads and grains, and they're problematic because a lot of people get foggy when they have that kind of food in their body. And it's one of the first things we do when people have, they're not so sharp. Like if like Sterling's not behaving himself, you take him off bread, maybe that's a little better.
Really?
That's one of the first things we do.
Wow.
But carbs themselves aren't the problem because there are some good sources of carbs.
Okay.
Obviously, oatmeals, whole grains, that for some people work well, or if they're non-wheat grains like quinoas and chias. Remember the chia pets?
Yeah.
Little animals with clay figurines.
Are you about to tell us to eat chia pets?
Please eat them. Not the clay. Eat the inside.
Of a
Really?
Yeah, the chia is fantastic. It's a grain that is superb. It's got amino acids, the right kind of fats in it.
Really?
Those are the ancient grains. I'll tell you, chia. The Aztec warriors would put chia in a little satchel, put it on their waist, and they'd go to battle with it because they could mix it with water. It would fill out a little bit. And it's so rich in nutrients that it was one of the best ways for them to travel and still have enough food.
You're about to make the sale of
I'm
chia
not
pets
eating
go
a
up
chia
for
pet.
edible purposes.
Push them all up.
Now,
Edible
wheat
chia
bread.
pets.
How about wheat bread? I heard wheat bread is
Has
just
a
a
lot of
title. It's not too good
Somebody
as people
said it
think.
has a lot of sugar in it.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy wheat bread. If you're going to buy wheat,
Not wheat bread?
No,
No, they said
it
wheat
has
bread's
to be
bad carbs, too?
It has to. Yes, I don't think they're good carbs. I think if you're going to buy wheat at all, it has to be 100% wheat bread. So when they say just wheat bread, it means nothing.
Okay.
It means it's just a little. It's a marketing term. By the way, gluten free, the biggest scam of all, I think.
Oh, I believe that.
Because when it says gluten free, they're taking out something that's naturally in bread, and in order to fake it, they got to put sugar and fats or some binding material in there. That's what the gluten
that's
does.
interesting.
So you don't want to buy gluten free. You want to buy foods that naturally don't have gluten in them. That's what you want to buy.
You know, there's drug dealers out here selling gluten-free heroin.
Are you serious?
Yes, they're telling people that.
You're kidding me.
Yes.
Hey,
You need to
man.
talk about this on your show. You should have a
I
whole
Okay,
show
so-
about gluten-free
I have
heroin.
Charlemagne now.
What's the
Talk about
difference
that.
between multigrain and whole wheat then?
No, multigrain is another head fake term. Multigrain means they put a lot of different forms of grain in the food, but doesn't have to be whole. Here's the thing. The grain is a whole entity. It's supposed to have an outside little capsule, which is where the fiber is. There's something on the inside where a lot of the nutrients are, and then there's a part called the endosperm. I think you like that. The endosperm.
I love sperm on my bread.
Yes, the endosperm. When you
Sperm.
the endosperm is in your bread, right? And so that stuff actually is, you don't want to have that be the dominant element. When you modify grains, you take that shell off it, you lose all the B vitamins, you lose all the good stuff, and you just keep the cheap carbohydrates in there. So you want 100% whole grain to get the whole grain,
Okay.
including the fiber and the nutrients. Or eat other types of grains that don't get modified. I mentioned chia as an example, but there's tons of other, barleys and quinoas, and all these are
I like
teff.
quinoa. Now, what's
Hold on,
the
break it
difference?
down in hood terms. What kind of bread should I buy then?
100% whole wheat or 100%?
It should say 100% on. If the word 100% is on there,
Get it.
it's good for you.
Okay.
If you think you've got a wheat problem, for example, let's say you're gluten sensitive, or you think you're not quite as sharp, and you think maybe the bread's part of it.
I've never been that sharp, Doctor.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with the
I don't
bread.
think. I think
been
you're pretty
eating bread his whole
clever.
life.
Pretty clever, I think. Then I'd go with barley, which is a great grain.
Okay.
And I do think chia is one that people should wake up to, as well as quinoa.
Gotcha.
Okay, now what's the difference between black rice, brown rice, white rice, what about those differences? People always tell you to eat brown rice, but then somebody recently told me that black rice is better for you even.
So the black rice was emperor's rice. It was the magical rice that only the emperors in China were allowed to eat.
I really like black rice.
Yeah, I love it too. It's very rich in phytonutrients. You know those dark colors? The same dark colors that are in eggplants and raspberries and blueberries, they're very valuable for us. And those are helpful to protecting our body against the sun, but also as working as antioxidants. So I love black rice, the emperor's rice. Brown rice I like more than white rice because brown rice, if it's whole rice, whole grain, again, they left the kernel, they left the shell on it. In the old days, rice and bread was only served in its raw form. You had the whole grain. In order to make it more palatable, but also make it richer, they would take off that outside grain to make white bread or white rice. They'd mill it. But now we realize it's not good for us. So the rich people got the worst food back then. Now the rich people don't eat that anymore. The poor people eat that. And this is the big reason we have obesity inside of our cities in America is that people can't afford to buy nutrient-rich food. They buy carbohydrate-rich food. They buy food that has calories but no nutrients. Your brain's really smart. Your brain says, wait a minute, guy, you ate the carbs, you ate the sugar, you got the calories in, I get that. But I'm not interested in calories. I'm interested in nutrients. I want to grow you stronger and bigger and faster and sexier and smarter. So I need nutrients to do that kind of stuff. And so we need to make sure that the nutrients in the foods, or you will overeat. That's what the brain does. It makes you keep eating the bad food because you didn't get enough nutrients in it.
Now, what about diet pills? A lot of people take diet pills. Are they healthy? And last time you came up here and you gave us what you ate, and which was great because I stick by that diet right now, from the chocolate to the fish. Can you give people another diet of what they can eat? Because a lot of times people just don't know what to eat.
So let's go through this. A couple of things. Diet pills work as a crutch. They're designed usually to be about 3 months worth of use. There's some things I like a lot. I don't sell any products, as you know. If you see my face next to an advertisement on the web, they're lying to you. Don't buy their product.
Okay.
In fact, we just caught these guys in San Diego, really, really bad apples, who were using my name, making tons of money. Selling a product that didn't have what it said it had in it. Think about it. They're lying to me about using my name.
Right.
They're probably going to lie what's in the product, too. These guys had 10% of the active ingredient. It was Garcinia cambogia, which does, by the way, Garcinia works. It's a food expander from Southeast Asia, very effective. Green coffee bean extract, they work, but you got to get them from people who really have the right stuff in them. And those are good, again, for losing about 10 to 12 pounds over a 3-month period. They're a little nudge to your metabolism. The way you lose weight overall, though, is to be on the right diet. So we've got this thing on DrOz.com called the 2-week diet.
Right.
It is incredibly popular. We've had millions of people download it. My producers did it. It wasn't even me. They pulled together the best ideas from all the guests. I've done almost 900 shows.
Okay.
They pulled together the best guests from all the shows. By the way. Thank you. And all those ideas, they pulled in this price, and they began doing it. And then when I realized they were all losing weight, I actually took their ideas and put it into a program. I did.
Right.
It was one of the most
help everybody.
It was probably the most successul program we did all year in terms of ratings.
Successful people steal, Dr. Oz.
People steal. That's right.
It's okay.
It's okay. That's right. But it is fascinating to see how these folks, are able to lose weight on this thing. So here's the basics of it.
Okay.
Think about fat as trying to protect you. It's not your enemy. It's trying to help you.
Right.
And it's trying to protect you against inflammation and against toxins. So when you do things to your body that cause inflammation and cause a toxic reaction, then your body has to accumulate more fat. When you do things that reduce inflammation, your body says, oh, I feel comfortable, let the fat go. Because historically, why was the fat there? It was there to protect us in times of famine. So when you feel stress, chronic stress, that historically with not having enough food, your body will amp up these hormones. Now, how many of you guys get the munchies when you smoke pot? You're all putting their hands up.
I don't smoke weed. It's illegal.
Shut up.
I'm not a big pot smoker, but I smoke.
That's why I don't smoke.
Especially when I'm in California.
Folks,
great weed out there. You ever had green crack, Dr. Oz? It's amazing.
I haven't tried it. I haven't gotten there yet. All right, that's a future show. So when people who smoke pot get the munchies because it turns on a hormone in the brain that is the same when you turn on when you feel stress. And so that's why when people get stressed, they have the same feeling. They eat food they don't even like and a lot of it. So dealing with emotional stress is important, but dealing with physical stress is important. So let's say you have a reaction to wheat. Let's say your body gets inflamed by wheat, which a lot of people do. And you know it because you get sort of weird allergy symptoms. You get runny nose, your eyes get a little watery, and then it passes. You don't think about it. You think it's some mild little allergy thing, but it's not. It's a big deal. Your body's fighting the battle. So a lot of foods will cause that. Foods that are preserved and processed will often have preservatives in them that will irritate your body. Eating a lot of simple carbohydrates will inflame your body. So that inflammation, the body responds to by accumulating fat, which is why the best way to lose weight is eating rich fruits and vegetables with dark colors in them, the colors of the rainbow, making sure that the foods you eat are ones that will quell inflammation. Omega-3s are a good example. Fish oils. Or eat fish.
Take fish oil pills every morning.
Perfect. Fish oil pills will naturally reduce the inflammation in the body. They also calm some of the hormones that would drive weight gain. You want to have low calcium in your diet because calcium gets the fat cells to metabolize their fat and get rid of their fat stores.
I'm lactose intolerant, though.
Yeah, we don't have to get calcium through milk. You
Just
get
the pills?
Yeah, or calcium's in leafy green vegetables.
Really?
Lots of sources.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you're lactose intolerant, obviously you can't have dairy, but dairy can be very inflammatory for a lot of people. For other people, if they're not,
I blow right up with some dairy.
Yeah, so
I mean, I just hit the toilet.
Yeah, that happens a lot. If you're especially for a lot of you don't have to be lactose intolerant, it happens. But if you can tolerate dairy, if like yogurt, for example, it actually helps you. Right. In studies done on people who eat a lot of dairy, they lose weight if it's whole fat dairy, not skim. Forget about skim dairy; that doesn't work. Take the fat out of dairy. What's left? Sugar.
Right.
So you don't want to have that. And the last little tip: nuts. You always want to have nuts in your pockets.
Oh, we love nuts. Almonds?
All walnuts. All of them.
We are some nut guys.
Perfect.
These guys are nuts.
They're nuts.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about testicles. Do you think clothing has an effect on your testicles? Because when I wear jeans, like my testicles tend to rise up in me.
I love
but
the
when
transitions
I wear sweats, my testicles hang. So, like, is that harmful to me when my testicles rise up and they get, like, tight, like when it's cold?
So, you like avocados?
No. I hate the way it feels in my mouth. I hate the texture.
Oh, I love that texture. So, the word avocado is the Aztec for a testicle.
Really?
They're supposed to have, they grow in pairs. They have a little gritty feeling on the outside, and one's lower than the other.
That's why I hate them in my mouth.
That's right. That's the same creamy feeling. Exactly right.
Yeah.
So, so they're supposed to ride a little high like that. They're outside the body for an important reason. It's cooler outside the body, and the sperm can't mature in warm temperatures. That's why women can have ovaries inside the body where the eggs can mature when it's warm. But the ovaries are the male's testicles. In the male, they have to get outside the body. In fact, if you don't have descended testicles, then they get hot and they don't make sperm. If you're wearing high-rise pants and it's pulling in too tight, it keeps them too hot, then you won't be as fertile. Might be a good thing for you, who knows? Yeah. And if you put a laptop on your testicles, that's really bad for them because you're basically frying your testicles up. They won't make sperm.
Who puts a laptop on
now,
their
when you
testicles?
lay down
if they're working on it, or the worst of it, the cell phones. If people wear their cell phones in their front pockets, it's too close to your testicles.
So it's best to breed in the wintertime is what you're saying.
It's much better for you.
That's why wintertime is cuffing season. That explains everything.
Sure
in the hood, we say cuffing season. Cuffing season is when you get real close to a girl in the winter, you wife her up for the winter. But then you break up with her in the summer.
Oh, gosh.
So yeah, that's why a lot of girls
that's called
get
cuffing?
pregnant. Yeah,
Yes.
cuffing.
So,
Cuffing season.
is boxers better than briefs then? Because briefs let it air and let it cool out?
I think boxers are better. But if you don't have a problem with fertility, then you can get away with the briefs as well. But don't you want to hang free and be able to be who you are?
That's why I like sweatpants. I like my nuts to hang.
Yes, let them go.
He doesn't wear underwear sometimes, though, so
Yeah,
there's
he
a little
doesn't.
difference.
Is that healthy?
I think it's the best. Don't wear underpants. People, when you go to bed at night, for sure don't wear underpants.
Oh, I sleep butt naked. Wife beat, I'm like Winnie the Pooh. Just a shirt on,
Winnie the
and no
Pooh.
pants.
Oh, God.
Okay, another question. I wanted to ask you about mushrooms, as in poisonous mushrooms.
Shrooms, baby.
Shrooms.
Yes. Now, I've heard that this is a very natural way, if you want to ever use drugs, to use something. It's just a poisonous mushroom. Now, I'm not sure if this is how it happens, but you take it, and then your body is fighting off the poison, and that's why you have the hallucinations and the feelings that you have. Can you explain shrooms to me, and do you think it's a harmful drug?
So mushrooms have many good and bad sides to them. Actually, on today's show, I'm talking about shrooms a little bit, but we're talking about the beta-glucans in shrooms, which are good things. Mushrooms are the best source of vitamin D naturally existing in food. And especially in our northern cities, we don't have enough vitamin D, so I like mushrooms for that.
Good aphrodisiac, too.
Great aphrodisiac. But they're medicinal shrooms as well, which are the ones you're talking about. They cause hallucinogens. And I've been throughout the world, I've traveled, and I've seen uses of shrooms in many areas. In many parts of South America, it was a rite of passage. They would give the young men and women shrooms. They'd have hallucinations. They would take them into a different universe, a different existence, a different consciousness.
That happened to me.
Did it happen to you?
Yeah.
The problem that I have with shrooms is if they're not well managed, you don't always have a voyage that's safe. And as a doctor, I can't recommend them because I never want to alter your consciousness because you can get there naturally. You can alter your consciousness through meditation. I mean, I've done it. You can alter it through sports. You can alter it through sex. There are many ways you can reach that other place, be above the plane we live in. A lot of us are very literal, right? We just take for granted what we're doing. But I'm knocking on a table right now. This table really isn't solid. The physics of this tells me that this is mostly just space with the forces, the invisible force fields, creating a connection between us all. That works as people as well. So you don't have to take anything to go to the other place. But sometimes people just are so lost or so desirous of it that they are going to go there. So to answer your question, I think it's dangerous to do on your own, especially since you don't know what's in there. And sometimes it leaves long-standing repercussions. Okay. But I'm respectful of the fact that people have done it. In this country, it was done by many of the Plains Indians and in the southwest part of the country. And they had a way of doing it that they found was safe enough. And
have you ever had a drug of choice?
Yeah.
No, I've never done it. You know why I haven't done it? I always felt that because I would be out of control, I might not get better again. Right. And I always treasured the fact that I could use my mind to get there, because I'd seen these incredible yogis in the Himalayan plains sit outside in the cold weather and with wet clothes and dry the clothes off their back as they went to a different universe. And I figure if they can get there naturally and they can teach me how to do it, I'll go there by myself. I don't have to use anything that might be tainted or adulterated, and I wouldn't be dependent on it. And that's my big issue with pot, actually. I think medicinal pot makes a ton of sense. You know, I've had, Montel Williams is a good example. The guy was a U.S. Marine, terrible multiple sclerosis, but he's completely functional on pot, and he wouldn't be without it. So you have a guy like that tell me, how can you take that from me? I defended this country.
Right.
How can you tuck that from me and prevent me from having that benefit? Yet I live in a state in New Jersey where it's legal to prescribe it, illegal to buy it. How's that possible?
Right.
How can I be allowed to give you something, but you're not allowed to buy it to use it? So I like medicinal pot, but I don't want young people thinking they have to take pot to get through life. Because life's a bitch, right? It's hard. It's challenging. It's difficult. It's not supposed to be easy, and it gets overwhelming at times.
Life's a bitch and then you die. That's why we get high, because you never know when you're going to go.
Don't listen to him. So Dr. Oz.
Yes. Or if you think you have to be on pot to get through life, then you get this weird emotional addiction that you're not good enough. And that's not true. All of us are good enough.
Like
We are.
depressant.
Yeah.
I'm interested to hear you say that, because you always talk about things being natural, but then in your Good Life magazine, you talk about the real power of Lucky Charms. You say like rabbit's foots and horseshoes, four-leaf clover, stuff like that is good?
Well, there are many reasons why you need to find a grounding element in your life. And the grounding element can come in many forms. And sometimes these little charms are just reminders. I'll give you an example. I had the lapis lazuli is this blue stone, lapis lazuli, that is been thought of as a good luck charm. So I was with my son at this little bazaar. We were overseas traveling. And he was a little boy at the time. He's 14 now. He's bigger than me, but he was probably 8 or 9. And I found one in the market, and I took it, and I dumped it in the water, and we pretended we were diving, and he found it. He was so happy, and reminded me of the innocence of a child. And then over a couple of days, he realized it was too good to be true. And that was him coming of age. So I have that on my desk right now. It's a good luck charm. I don't think it has magical powers, but it reminds me of the preciousness of life and of time, because we overlook it.
It's kind of like your thoughts become things. It reinforces positive thought.
Yeah. And that's what it has always been for me. And I think in a lot of cultures, that's the iconography we have in religion. I used to always think, oh, it's crazy. Why do they think that's actually a relic from God? It's not even about that. It's about reminding you and reinforcing the feelings you probably should be having anyway.
It's like Linus with his blanket. Everybody needs a blanket.
Yeah, everyone needs a blanket.
Everybody needs a
Dr.
blanket.
Oz, let's talk exercise a little bit. How much should people exercise a week? Because a lot of people don't exercise, and do people need to exercise?
If you go around the world and look at places where people live the longest, I mean, they live 4 times longer in these countries than they live in this country. Costa Rica, Sardinia, all over the place. Okinawa in Japan. They have one characteristic they all share: physical activity. But they don't go running. They don't go exercise. They don't do triathlons. What they do is daily, rigorous physical activity. So they'll get up and they'll just go out and mow the lawn, or they'll climb to the top of the hill, fill up their pail with water, and bring it back down again, with the bucket full. So that kind of activity is the most valuable. So every single day, you should be doing an activity that makes you a little breathy. It could be sexual activity. It could be picking up something heavy. It could be carrying something, walking the stairs to your office. But you got to prepare your body to do that. If you're wearing high heels to have sexy legs at work, but you can't walk up the stairs in them, then bring your sneakers and switch out.
Right.
But that kind of activity is the most valuable. On top of that, if you can layer about an hour of sweating a week, which you can do about 3 different workouts, once a week, one workout, whatever you want to do, but a once a week of sweating a 1 hour of sweating a week, then that combination is all you have to do.
Right.
And don't think you're going to lose weight by exercising. That's not how you lose weight. You can keep your weight down by exercising. The reason young men don't gain weight is they have so much muscle. It's like a metabolic furnace burning through calories. But what you want to focus on if you're going to lose weight is the food you put in your body. Don't exercise just to get there. Exercise to live longer and live better.
Let's talk about food getting put in the body. Now, there was a young lady in California. She put Pop Rocks candy in her vagina because she thought it would increase sexual sensation. Could you tell people the negative benefits of putting candy in your vagina?
So I just did a show that's going to air tomorrow.
What's a negative benefit?
What's a negative benefits? I'm going to go through all that.
Trying to sound smart.
Yeah, you're remarkably smart.
I'm a brilliant idiot.
I don't know about that. A savant. You're a savant. So we had this woman come on the show, and she said she got intimate with her man and did it on the beach. And got things that are like those rocks, the sand up in there. And she said it was like, like having an accordion in there because the sand was trapped and it couldn't get out.
That's not fun.
It was, and so I actually asked her. We have about 8.5 million people follow us on social media. And I started asking. It's a very common question, and you don't have to even be intimate with somebody. You could be sitting on the beach with the water, just waves coming in, driving standing there. So anything you put in there is going to irritate the lining. Once it's irritated, it's like having sandpaper rubbing on a very sensitive part of the body. So I don't think she needs to go there. But can I just ask, or if I could ask her one question, but this is an issue for everybody. About a third of women never have an orgasm, ever, never.
I was saying that the other day. Remember,
Yes,
I was saying that the other day during Ask Me, somebody called in and she was complaining that she doesn't have an orgasm every time. And I also said that women don't have to have an orgasm every time to have an enjoyable sexual experience.
They don't
every single time.
Not only do they not have to have it every time, that would be a little bit abnormal even for a lot of women to have it every time.
That's what I was saying, and people were telling me, no, that's not true. If you don't have orgasm every time, then your man's not doing the right thing.
Why you make these chicks? Dr.
But let's just talk about that second, because what I'm actually talking about though is a more serious issue, because a third of women never have had an orgasm, ever.
Which is crazy.
So a lot of women are faking.
Yeah, most women fake. I mean, is that true?
I think all women fake at some point.
Right. You have to pretend
at some
a
point.
little.
Sometimes you just.
How do you know for sure, Dr. Oz? I got to make sure I'm good at home.
I want some Dr. Oz tips on
I
how
think
to
as a
drop
man-
squirt.
on the bed. I seen the stains on the bed, but hey, I got to make sure,
Stains?
Dr. Oz.
Is there any foods you can eat to make them squirt?
Well, geez.
Well, first of all, I would say you guys have to do a lot more oral sex.
We're
A lot
asking
more
Dr.
foreplay.
I want to
Yes.
know Dr. Oz.
All right. So how do you tell they're stimulated? There's two things you'll know. The nipples will
I know.
the nipples will get taut.
Tot, okay.
And
That's hard, right?
Hard, and the clitoral area will get engorged a little bit.
What's engorged mean?
Full.
Sounds
Fill.
dangerous.
Fill.
Oh, full. Okay.
The clitoris is like a small penis, so
I
it's
know
just like
that.
having an erection.
Well,
We've all
let's-
sucked a small penis.
Yes,
We know.
that's the oral sex, by the way, is very valuable, hugely valuable. But let's talk about that a little bit, because these clitoris is actually the tip of the penis, right? It's a glans penis, the very top part. Then the female actually has a penis. It's tissue that's underneath the skin, and then goes back and ends up inside where the G spot is. The G spot is where the prostate is in the man. So in the women, the prostate moved forward, became the front of the vaginal wall, and that became the G spot.
Right.
So you're supposed to. It's not just one little place you can point to. Most women, it's a little more diffuse. It's more spread out. It's a plexus of nerves. But some women don't have a lot of tissue there. It's not full, so it's much harder to stimulate them. So they don't have orgasms. They blame themselves. They think they're not worthy, or they're emotional. Or it's not true. They just anatomically they need a little more help.
Right.
So they need to find it on their own.
Find out where your G spot is.
It is, and stimulate and use devices to help yourself, and then teach your man. But don't do it in the middle of intimacy. Don't do it when everyone's heated up because the guy's not focused.
Right.
Teach them, and you got to direct them. Got to go left, no more left, no the other left. Like take
Gotcha.
them there.
You have
so
to know
where
your
go.
own body before you can tell somebody else how to.
Yeah, and most there are sites actually that can help direct you in this direction, so you can actually know how to do it on yourself. But you got to find it yourself to help the man that you're with.
Dr. Oz, you just proved my point. I've been telling guys for years that if you've ever put your mouth on the clitoris, you sucked the little penis. Because the clit is just a small penis.
Oh, my goodness.
So therefore, we're all a little gay. We've all had a penis in our mouth at
Okay,
some point in our
Charlamagne. Now, Dr. Oz, it's Friday.
truth.
It's Friday, so it's Freaky, Freaky, Freaky Friday. We're all family here.
Oh, you want to speak of freaky? Let me show you. I'm gonna get Dr. Oz excited.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, don't show him pictures
So
off
Dr.
your
Oz,
phone.
You see this picture of Oprah on the front of Old Magazine?
Yes, she looks really good then.
Whoa, she is. Oh,
He
you trying
tried
to enlarge it?
it.
Instagram, it won't get no bigger. She got ass, right?
Stop it. So, Dr.
Oprah got ass,
Oz, we're all
Dr. Oz.
family here. What's the freakiest thing that you experience of you seen?
Freakiest thing I've ever seen. Well, I tell you, the most uncomfortable thing is to see the fistula, the perianal fistulas.
The what?
The fistulas around the bottom part of your body.
The hell is a
What's
fistula?
what's a fistula?
So, the poop's supposed to come out through the main hole down there, and
Okay.
sometimes you get little holes around the main hole, and the poop starts going through there.
Why would you get a little hole there?
Infections, inflammation, a lot of people have it because...
So this goes back
So
to
it's like
my
a leak.
anal sex question that we started with.
Well, anal sex isn't the main way you get it. You get it because you've had like you get an infection there. You know how you get hemorrhoids back down there? Because you ate foods that made your poop really hard. So if you get really constipated, when the poop's trying to work its way out, it can go the wrong way sometimes.
Oh, my God. That's not freaky. That's not sexy, Dr.
Yeah, that
Oz.
wasn't sexy.
Oh,
at all.
you want it sexy?
Yeah, I want it sexy, Dr. Oz.
Dr. Oz, have you ever heard of
It's the weekend. Give us something to make us last longer.
Yeah,
Oh,
something-
jeez.
What do you think of
Prolapse?
male enhancement pills? Do they work? Because John Sally dropped off some stuff here that I've been using and hasn't worked for me. I'm still premature ejaculation.
Yeah, most of those things
It's
are not
right
that
here,
effective.
yeah.
Let's try this.
I don't want you to hold it because that's an endorsement.
Yeah, I'd be very concerned about this. What's these? Can I see the ingredients?
Yes,
Turn
you
these
can.
things
Go
on here.
He gave me some for women. I
glasses.
haven't tried them.
Yeah, I don't want you to hold these in your hand. It might take a picture and be endorsing this garbage.
I'm going to get my glasses.
I'm going to read them for you.
Oh, you read them.
Okay, supplement facts. I can't pronounce nothing. Epimedium grandiflorium.
Oh, we don't know
Oh
what
no,
that is.
I would not invest a lot of money in those.
Propitoria amino potency power blend.
See, so there are herbs that are actually effective, but when you put them in proprietary blends, then you can't tell what's in them. And I worry about this. But, there is a combination of amino acids that people make products with these amino acids that actually do stimulate testosterone. But I'll give you one good little tip. Oysters.
Oh,
oysters,
yeah.
Oysters have magnesium in them, and they stimulate your testosterone. So, and it's not just – a lot of the stimulatory foods look like they're stimulatory. There's a visual reinforcement. So oysters, obviously, you slurp them down. I mean, they taste sexy, too. But they have the magnesium that stimulates testosterone. Bananas have bromelain in them. They have a visual reinforcement again. But that also is a stimulant. It helps reduce the – there we are. I got my glasses here.
Here we go.
Now I'm going to be a doctor.
I refuse to let you hold this box, Dr. Oz.
All right. Proprietary amino acid potency blend. Would definitely not try that. They have glutamic acid, which would be good. They have lysine, which would be good. So the things they have in there actually would work, but I don't know if they mix them together the right way.
Yeah.
So maybe it works, maybe it doesn't.
You got soft hands, dog.
I'm a surgeon. Dr. Oz?
I'm a surgeon.
I'm rubbing his name just now. I was like, wow, Dr. Oz has really nice hands.
Here, turning cough, please.
Well,
but you know why doctors use 2 fingers when they do rectal exams?
Why?
Second opinion. I'll be here all weekend, guys.
Dr. Oz, we appreciate you joining us.
Thanks,
Back to the anus, just how we started. Let's end it how we started.
Full circle.
Full circle. We started with anal and ended with anal.
You're always invited up here.
My man, Dr. Oz.
We appreciate you.
Take
and
care,
of course,
my
Dr.
friends.
Oz, The Good Life, new magazine by Dr. Oz.
Yes.
And I see it's getting thicker and thicker, the second issue.
Hey, yo.
Can we get these mailed up here?
Yeah, from now on, you're getting them.
Please.
The gift from the show.
Thank
Take
you, sir.
care. Bye-bye.
Dr. Oz, we appreciate you. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.